I'm going to, well, first I want to ask you something. You went over the whole secret thing. The way I read it, you were talking about how the DEC would be the lead agency.
No.
Okay.
Yeah,
the way I understand
it,
I'm sorry. The way I understand it, if the town of Guilford, and please correct me if I'm wrong, if the town of Guilford creates a critical environmental area, the town of Guilford becomes the lead agency. Because that's what the DEC says. I don't know what, okay? Okay.
Do you have more?
Pardon me?
Do you have more?
Yes.
Okay.
The town of Guilford becomes the lead agency and has to enforce the environmental impact studies. And the way I read it, it's not a matter of there may be an environmental impact study required of any kind of an unlisted or a type 1 or an unlisted action under secret. It will be required. I'm going to suggest that before you go much farther with this, have the town lawyer take a real careful look at the State Environmental Quality Review Act. It was brought to you by the very same people who brought you the Adirondack Park Agency, and for the exact same reasons. So just
I can't answer that.
I can.
So I'm going to defer.
I thought I explained it, but I can pop that up again. For every decision that has to be, that's under secret, there's a lead agency. For example, for the subdivisions in Guilford, you folks are the lead agents.
Correct, because we have the regulations. There are regulations.
Right. For anything else, you wouldn't be in town. You name a type of project. You don't have regulations, zoning. You don't have zoning regulations. A lead agency by the board, if the board were to designate a CEA, it does not change anything in terms of regulations. It doesn't make them the lead agency on anything else that they are right now, which is subdivision. You name an application, it's not going to change it. They're not suddenly going to be reviewing wetland permits or I think another solid waste permits or gas permits. They're not going to be. It's not changing their jurisdiction whatsoever. I'm not. I have no axe to grind here, folks. Okay. I'm going to leave your community and I'm going to work with communities all across the state. I'd have no agenda with you, honestly. That's the case. Okay. And so it's not going to create for these folks anything else except when they're reviewing that application, there is going to be a little checkbox, and if it's a large subdivision, for example, right in the heart of the watershed, you know, they may want to look at, for example, is there an erosion and sedimentation plan in place for that?
But if there's no regulations in for erosion and settlement that
then it's not. If it's not in their code, then it's not going to be considered. There's going to be no new regulations.
So there is absolutely no change of any kind. It doesn't change the status. It doesn't change the likelihood of an environmental impact statement.
No. It doesn't. And a lot of people, I think, well, it's going to create more attention on us. It's going to draw more attention.
Okay.
But it doesn't. My opinion, it doesn't.
Okay. Let's try not to go back and forth, please. Are we on number 5?